Well, good morning from Talladega National Forest. It's day 2. Everybody's getting up, we're getting coffee, and I'm just kind of hanging around the tent. It's a little cool this morning. I think the sun's coming up behind me. Should be able to see a good sunrise. We'll get started here in a little bit. Welcome to another edition of As the Crow Flies Hiking.
So Josh, what do you think, man? What do you think about the Pinhoti?
I love it. It's everything I wanted it to be and more.
Good deal.
I wanted to hike on it for so long. And I think a lot of that's just, I don't know, seeing you guys on YouTube and just finding my own way,
Yeah.
That's the best part about backpacking. Is there's no right way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the best thing about it.
Choose your own adventure.
Yep, exactly.
Point. Josh, what do you think about the McDill's Point?
Oh, there's no words to describe it. It's absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, there's something about the sun, where the sun comes up behind me and it creates this, just tunnel of light down this valley. It's absolutely glorious.
It's waking up the whole woods.
Just looking at God's creation, it's just amazing.
Amen.
What kind of artist he was,
Yeah.
or is.
Really lets you know how small you are.
Yeah. Well, we're about to head on the trail here in a minute. We just want to get one last glimpse of McDill's Point, and we've done that, and we'll move on. All right, morning on the Pinhoti, and the sun is coming off the mountain. It's just absolutely beautiful up there. The sun's coming down, and you can kind of see in the valley the sun coming up and coming over the trees. And now we enter the Cheaha wilderness in the Talladega National Forest. So you can't have any man-made things in here. You don't bring saws or things like that. For the trail maintainers, it is a pure wilderness area. So there was even some controversy about having the Pinhoti signs on the trees. I saw on different forums and stuff, but I like the signs because people are going to come out here regardless of signs or not, and they can get lost. So anyway, we'll move on through the Cheaha wilderness and head to the junction, where we'll make a decision whether they're going to do about 7 or 8 miles, or we're going to do about 4 or 5 miles. So we'll see what we do. So if you can see off in the distance, right over there, that's McDill's Point. It's the place where we were yesterday, just hanging off. We were somewhere down there at the sunset, and the sunset looked over that way. So now the sunset is coming up behind me, and we will keep heading down the Pinhoti, heading south.
cool up there. Did you look up at the top?
Yeah.
There's rocks up there. Got that one wrong. This is where you'll lose a hiking pole.
Yeah. All right, so yesterday I didn't have a question for the video to see if you're still watching. So I'm just gonna assume that nobody was watching, at least to that point. But if you're still watching today, here's the question for the video. We were talking about different albums and different music and what makes a band good. And what we did, we were talking about U2 and how they kind of changed to a techno sound after Joshua Tree and stuff. But if you had to take one album, and I say album because I'm a Generation Xer, I don't know what you call it now. But if you had to take one album or musical collection from one band on a desert island and you had to live the rest of your life with it, what would it be? And so mine was gonna be the U2 Joshua Tree album. What would yours be? Comment below if you're still watching. You may not be watching. Whatever, if you're not, it's okay. Have a good day. What would the album be? John, if you had to take one album on a desert island for the rest of your life and only listen to that, what would it be?
It's definitely a Foo Fighters album. Huge Foo Fighters fan. So I would say Foo Fighters, it's a more recent one, Wasting Light.
Wasting Light.
Yeah, I love that album. I had that on repeat for like 3 months.
Awesome.
Yeah, great album.
Dave Grohl is such a wonderful, talented artist.
Hall of Famer. You look down, you kind of have to be real careful.
That's how I'm really, like right here, if I take a step forward, I start to feel.
So we made it out to another view spot. It's just such a glorious day. There's not a cloud in the sky. And John and Josh and Bill are out there taking some pictures. It's just kind of neat to kind of be on the trail and all of a sudden pop out to this. Just spectacular. This is the view we have behind us right now.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no, Mr. Bill!
Oh, no, Mr. Bill. I hadn't thought about that show forever.
And Gumby?
Be like the
It is
Highlands
usually a
when I
weekly
had that,
occurrence
like,
for me.
awkward fall.
Yeah.
There was just like
All right, I think you can see behind me, we're at the junction area. It's a huge campsite where the Pinhoti runs behind the camera this way. That way runs to the Chinabee Silent Trail, down to the Lakeshore Trail, and back to Adams Gap. Behind me, which is where we're going, we're gonna head up to the Oden Scout Trail. And at a junction up there, you can either go right on the Oden Scout or you can go left on the Newbin Creek and then back to the Cave Creek, which takes us back to where we started. So our loop will end tomorrow, taking the Newbin Creek Trail back to the Cave Creek Trail and then to the parking lot. I think we're gonna head in a little bit. Right now, we're just gonna get some lunch, kind of hang out. It's such a beautiful day, beautiful weather. And so we'll get started here in a little bit. And up here is the Oden Scout Trail and the Pinhoti, which where we went down to that junction. Now we're heading toward High Falls. Let's see if we can get there. I think John Kelley has a good plan for us. I think we're gonna go to High Falls, hang out for a while, enjoy that for a bit. And then I think we're gonna head back and make the day shorter for tomorrow. Y'all good with that?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
100% good.
So that's our plan, but you know how plans are. You can make them, but sometimes you can't stick to them. We're on the Oden Scout Trail now, and something you need to know about the Oden Scout Trail, it is not extremely well maintained. It is a beautiful trail. You can see over in the distance behind me just how beautiful views it is on both sides, because you're on a ridge, and on this side a huge ridge view. You just gotta have to know the trail. So my thought is, if you go to the Oden Scout Trail, go with somebody who has been on the trail before and can get you to High Falls on the Pinhoti, off the Pinhoti, because you just kind of have to feel it a little bit. I don't know that there's a lot of people that maintain this trail. You know, coming off of summer, the trail kind of gets overwhelmed by the underbrush, and you just kind of have to know where you are. I mean, you're on a ridge, so you just know you got to follow the ridge, but it is a little bit overgrown. But yet, it's a beautiful trail. There's been a lot of blowdowns after the hurricane came through here, and we got off the trail a bit. So what I did was, we're on a ridge, so I just did a horizontal line across the ridge and then found the trail. I think we're somewhere around a mile, mile and a half from the falls. And then we'll head back up this mountain and see if we can make it back to the Cave Creek Trail. I tell you what, I hope we can find the trail on the way back up as it gets darker.
Milo's sweet tea. Is it?
Okay, Josh, we made it to the waterfall. You all right?
I'm feeling good. I think we're gonna drop our packs and you're gonna take us down to the waterfall, get a little water, and spend some time down there. Just having an overall good time, man. Thanks for bringing us here.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear it. John, you all right? Look at him, he's swigging some water.
Yes.
It doesn't feel that hot, but the sun's beating down, so it does kind of make you want some water.
That was a whole liter, one try.
Wow.
I've never drank an entire liter of water in one shot.
Dude,
It was the whole liter.
I saw you open it up, and it was full.
The whole thing, I never stopped. I drank the whole thing down.
That's awesome.
Somebody was thirsty.
Somebody might have been losing
It's been a long day, long journey to get here, and we've come down the mountain to get here. So now we've got to go back up. There's only one trail down here and one trail back up. I think we're going to try to head back to a campsite and burn all the miles basically that we have tomorrow and do a lot of those today. So that's the plan. We'll just see how it goes. Just going to hang out. We're going to filter some water because I don't know how much water there is back up the trail all the way to the campsite. And this water is actually down. It looks like a good waterfall, but it's usually a lot stronger than this. We dropped our packs back at the campsite up there. Hopefully nobody messes with those. And we'll head back up, maybe a quarter mile back up to the campsite. And then we will head back up this trail. I think about 1,000, 1,300 feet of elevation back to the sign. And once we get to the sign, we'll head down Newman's Creek Trail and then to Cave Creek Trail and find a campsite somewhere and only have a few miles left for the hike out on Sunday. All right, I'll let you enjoy the waterfall. Isn't that cool?
That's the one I
Good dog. Good dog.
Hikers, man.
We're gonna hike for about 2.5 hours, and at some point we're gonna start looking for a campsite regardless of where we are. We may have a nice stealth spot for the night. We'll figure something out, but every step we take and every breath we take,
We'll be watching you.
You'll be watching us. No, we'll be closer to the trailhead. We keep hearing shots in the distance, and Josh said it sounds just like Hunger Games, but this is Hiker Games, and I think we're the last remaining.
There's a lot of dead hikers.
A lot of dead hikers.
A lot of dead hikers.
I see dead hikers. So, two movies. We'll keep moving. We're erasing miles as we go. Every step we take, we're erasing miles for tomorrow, so that's kind of fun. Well, if you can't tell, it's starting to get dark, and we still haven't found a campsite. We've decided to cut down as many miles as we can for tomorrow. So we're just moving along the trail. I'm in a section of the trail that I don't remember too well. I don't remember. It's been years since I've been on this section. So for the next, I guess, mile and a half, I really don't know if there's a campsite. So we may be committed for several miles, or we may find a campsite in 100 yards. I don't know. All I know is we have made significant progress on cutting down tomorrow's miles by hiking them today, including going up the mountain. All right, we'll just keep moving, and the next thing we hope we see is a campsite. Josh says there's a campsite up ahead. I don't know.
There's one somewhere up there. I know it.
My spidey senses says there's a campsite.
All right, we'll see what we can find. Well, we made it to camp, and it just happened to show up, this campsite. We were heading down a hill, and we saw kind of a flat area, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw something that looked like a fire ring. And sure enough, we all kind of said, that's a fire ring, and that looks like a flat, nice campsite. It's already dark. We got here as the sun went down, as it got dark, and we were putting up our tents in the dark. Pyro Bill, as always, is working on the fire. He's got his hammock set up, and I've got my duplex set up. So we're ready to start cooking, and it's a later day, so that's good. We can kind of cook and then chill out by the fire, and then get to bed when we want to, and then tomorrow morning we'll wake up really early and get out of here. I think at the most we have maybe 3 miles, so an hour and a half or so to get out of here. All right, well, I'll check back in with you maybe later, but it's great to find a nice campsite out of nowhere. We weren't even looking for it.
Really nice, good.
All right, so tonight I'm having the, let's see if I can put this on here, the beef stroganoff
Burn myself.
with noodles. Josh had a Texas Pete sauce still, and he's got some real hot ramen or ramen, whatever you call it. And so he had that Texas Pete left. So he gave it to me, put a little Texas Pete in there. It was bland, but then when I put that in there, it gave it a lot of flavor. Good stuff. So beef stroganoff with noodles, a little Texas Pete. That's what I'm talking about.
Everybody, so I'm in my tent. It's only about 7:30, and I guess I just hit the wall today. It's been a long day hiking. Not really. I mean, 12 miles or so, but we had a lot of stops and a lot of starts, and just a lot of fun. Checked out all the sights, all the views, and then went down to the waterfalls, hung out there, and then we hiked back on top, and there was a hurricane that came through here a few weeks ago, and what the remnants of it hit, and it really took a toll on the trails out here. So a lot of blowdowns. We were going really slow. But it got to be about dark. We were in between different trails, weren't sure what we were going to do. We come down to the bottom of one of the mountains and just happened this campsite opened up. Great place. I hope I can show it to you in the morning. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me for another episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking. I'll end today, and then we may have a short video tomorrow, or may not. I don't know. It's going to be a short out for about 4 miles. Get some coffee tomorrow morning and head out. Hopefully I can get some sleep tonight. So, all right, thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the morning.